Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. It is Thursday. We are live. I'm so excited to talk about today's topic today. So, today we are talking about measuring the ROI of workplace culture. So exciting, I know. So, for you guys who don't know me, my name is Miracle Semien. I am the COO of Veaux Professional Services. And here at Veaux Professional Services, we always like to say we are modern HR. We lead with culture and then everything else follows because it needs to be woven into the DNA of everything you do when it comes to recruiting all the way to offboarding. So it starts with onboarding and ends with offboarding, but culture is everything. Of course, we need those SOPs, we need strategies, we need those forms, we need to do performance management, but everything begins with culture. So, today's topic is a really interesting one because now you get to see all of the benefits and how you can measure the return of your investment when you focus on culture first. So let's just go into it. So, the first topic is let's just go ahead and talk about real time employee engagement. So, engagement in general is the degree to how employees feel a sense of belonging and commitment to your organization. It's not about job satisfaction, it's about how connected they feel to the company's goals and values. And so that's very important because you, as a CEO or a leader, you have these goals and your values. So if that's not aligned, if you have an employee that wants to do their own personal goals or something else, there's not an alignment there. So you need the employee engagement so there can be an alignment. And it's also so important because it drives the efforts, it drives the morale, how they feel, the energy, the vibes in the organization. And it also is directly tied to the quality of work that they produce. So again, a well-defined culture leads to high level of engagement, which is directly linked to productivity. And so sometimes you'll see companies focus solely on engagement, but without it connecting to something. So it's just like building blocks, like almost like Tetris. Like you need to have your company goals and values, and then you need to have the standard behavior that you want to see your employees do. And then once you do that, you're building that strategic culture, and then engagement happens because it's all aligned. Like you can be engaged at a company and not be aligned with the standard behaviors you want to see as leaders. So, as leaders, just important to invest in your employees because you need all of the stars to align, the Tetrix effect, so you can have a thriving, profitable company. And it's very strong and healthy. Next slide. All right. So let's talk about my favorite word, the importance of positive accountability. So accountability in a workplace goes beyond just responsible, like you are responsible to do X. It's about creating a culture where each team member is driven to perform their best. So when an employee takes ownership of their work, it not only boosts their performance, but it also serves as a healthy barometer of your culture's or ROI. So when you have employees that are fully invested in fully taking ownership and accountability of their task or whatever the goal is at hand, you have people just wanting to do the right thing and then going over and beyond. So to truly embrace this culture and this value, it must be done on every level of the organization. So the higher ups, you have to start doing this first. You have to start taking accountability of, not answering your emails on time. Oh, I know that's a hard one for leaders because time is not on your side when you are running a business or you're in leadership positions. So, the first thing you can do right now as a leader is step up and answer, communicate with your team via email or anything like that. Stay on top of that because they are looking at you. And so, you have to start modeling this behavior. So, take ownership, hey, I know you sent me an email. I got a little behind. I will follow up on everything. Like you have to be accountable for your actions. So once you start taking that culture, that approach, your team will follow. And so the payoff of a culture of accountability is about it's truly in everyday practices. So you as leaders and you it trickles down to your employees, you're upholding this standard. It's this way of doing things. We are going to be transparent and we're going to do the best of the best in our organization. And the reason why we call these behaviors the standards because we know that our standard is other companies like over and beyond. So we are very very strategic and we outline the behaviors and we make them our standard is excellence. I always say that. So here at VPS, we get to instill a excellence mindset, and just by saying this is what we do, and it's our standard way of operating in anything. And so you have a more engaged organization and more productive team because they know exactly what they need to do to create this environment. All right. So let's talk about NPS. So NPS stands for the net I'm sorry, it says for the net promoter score. So it's it's really simple. So it's just a simple way of asking your employees on a scale of 1 to 10, would they recommend this place of work to a friend or, somebody in their family? And so this it's a simple question, but this question reflects the overall experience and satisfaction of your culture. So if you will recommend your company to someone you deemed valuable and a good asset to the team, you would actually say, yeah, this is a good place to work. Then that's a great way to indicate that you're doing something right. So employees this way is to really gauge the health of your culture. So a high NPS score suggests that you are creating a positive, engaging, and supporting environment. And so if you do have a low NPS score, of course, that is the indicator that you need to call VPS. That is areas for feedback and how can we improve in this area? Because if you wouldn't trust, people will stay in an environment, for obvious reasons, but it's a true indicator if they would, knowing what they know and how they feel, invite somebody else to feel the same way. So that's why that NPS score is really a good indicator of how healthy your company culture is. And so if you don't have you don't have, so it's very important to have a good NPS measure score because it just can gauge how healthy your culture is and how you resonate with the team. And it's so important to just get that feedback and you get to see the loyalty your employees exhibit by having that score. Okay. So I definitely believe that yes, that NPS score is good, but you need to have multiple ways of measuring your engagement level and some KPIs. So some other things that you can do is definitely schedule the turnover. I mean, I'm sorry, measure the turnover rate. And so that's always a good one. How many people are leaving? What's happening? Did we do a big hire and then a lot of people left? Like what's going on internally? Another good one, because people will stay in a situation that is not good or toxic because they have to, like they're taking care of their family, so they're not in a position to leave. But another good one is to gauge their attendance. So are they taking out a lot? Are they constantly late to work? Are they leaving early? These are all kind of ways to measure. So it's not one single thing, but I do encourage you to track different KPIs. So another way to, and this goes into in track, measuring the engagement and also measuring the ROI. So a way to measure the ROI for culture is another, KPI capture is the workplace environment. So feedback, asking them, do they trust you? Get those, I always call it a culture committee, those people who will give you their honest feedback of like what's going on, what people saying. You can always survey them. And it's so beneficial to use different KPIs on your organization. And so you can see, of course, you can easily track the productivity. We were doing X amount of projects, now we're doing this amount of projects. Time to completion is also a very good way to track the workplace culture. I can go on and on KPIs and how you can measure it to see the increases. Okay, so the foundation of belonging. So there is a clear link between culture and profit. It's so clear. So when you have a well-defined culture, and let me explain that again. A well-defined culture is like a strategic plan that you know what you're going to do. We always say phases. Quarter one is phase one, quarter two, phase three. So it's a detailed plan, and you also have the defined behaviors spelled out. So your employees know what success looks like. And so these are the things we want our employees to start doing or stop doing that is directly tied to our company goal and then our mission, vision, and values. So having that deep sense of belonging, continuous improvement, and then honesty is the standard for your business. Like you have to have that. And I always suggest here at VPS, we suggest our employees start off with that sense of belonging because your employees need to feel safe in order to build up on anything you're about to do when it comes to culture work, when it comes to engagement. They have to have a sense of belonging and feeling like they are safe. So people truly feel that they belong to this organization, and then they'll be able to improve and operate in an honest environment. So I just wanted to level set that it is important to have that sense of belonging first when you are trying to make these adjustments. And so the result of this is, the increased engagement in the employee, and they look at it as they belong to the place. And when you belong to somewhere, you want to do good. It's not me asking you to do something. You already see it and you want to do it. So those are the key effects of creating a belonging culture. And so once you get to that belonging culture, you have a sense of increased productivity and innovation. So I love what I'm doing, and it doesn't even feel like work. I come here today and I see something, and I've already, thought about ways to improve it, way to enhance it, because I actually care about the work I'm doing. I'm not just clocking in and clocking out. So the goal is to have employees that come to work that are happy to come to work, and then they don't even feel like they're working. They truly enjoy what they're doing. That is the ultimate goal. And the benefits of it goes beyond the office. That culture of happiness and anticipation of the workload leads to profound benefits. They're anticipating what's going to happen next or how they can improve on this thing, and the productivity shots, it just goes through the charts. Because when you have more happy employees, they're likely to what, stay, and then contribute to the ideas. I tell leaders all the time, those employees know way more than you because they think about it, they know what's wrong, and they actually know how to fix it. But giving them the autonomy to live in that and like go ahead and fix it is so powerful for the employees and for you. You don't have to do it. Oh, so the last good KPI or return on investment when you focus on workplace culture is the customer retention and satisfaction. So you have a loyal customer base. Your customers are directly tied to your culture. So it's the way they feel. You have employees that's going over and beyond for them. You have employees that anticipate their needs and make sure that they're okay. So then that impacts the customers, and they purchase more, they stay with you more, they're lasting customers, and they come back because there's something about you. That's what usually customers say. It's something about you. And we like to say, well, it's our standard. Our standard is excellence. And then another indicator, if you always have like short-term customers, they don't return, they have a negative experience, they tell people. So one thing about, if you have a negative experience, you will tell 10 more people than having a positive experience. Because sometimes people be like, I don't want to tell my hidden gem. That's another thing. But people are prone to tell their negative experience. So if you have a reputation, a brand out there to handling customers wrong, it will spread like a wildflower. So that's another one of the things. So linking the link between a culture, a good company culture, and customer service, it's so strong. And so you have to prioritize, if you're in that business, customer satisfaction, and what does that look like? What are our behavior standards for a successful customer in your culture? So that is always a good indicator of having a good culture. Of course, I know we went through so much today, like we always do. But you're thinking, hey, I need help. I don't want to go at this alone. I actually want to fast track this knowledge and get to the other side and change this company culture. Because remember, if we have a well-defined company culture with standard behaviors, then that's aligned with our company goals, aligned with our mission, vision, and values. It's a clear roadmap for our employees on what they should do or shouldn't do. And then that leads to engagement, because we're able to see, these people and what success looks like. We want to have a sense of belonging. So we have to start there, making sure the employees that we currently have feel safe and belong within the organization. And so company culture, increased engagement, increased productivity. Easy peasy. If you need help with your company culture because you want it to be a striving organization, reach out to VPS. We have pop-up cultures. We have method of the way we engage with customers. And we start up with that culture pop-up shop where we define those company standards. So thank you again for your time, and you have a great Thursday.